Croom. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shit on my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't slay. When I'm focused on dangerous, down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. What's a family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit, nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to UFC Vegas 51 Best Bets. Not the best card in the world, but we have 14 fights, so can't complain. As always, I'm here with two of my guests, Weezy, Narco. Erik, unfortunately, is sick. Erik, I hope you feel better. But yeah, we have Narco and Weezy here. We'll start with you, Weezy. Weezy, are you looking forward to some Wu Yanan today?
Oh, man, dude, the Wu-Tang Clan. I love the Wu-Tang Clan. Wu Yanan, part of the Wu-Tang Clan now, so you got to bet on her. Bet Wu inside the distance. Unless I'm mistaken about that and she's not affiliated with the Wu-Tang Clan, this is an easy win at plus 400. Bet of the day, you guys. Let's get it.
Sounds good. Narco, you're all dressed up, looking good for the show. What's up, Narco?
This is all for the show, guys. Right here, this suit, everything. This is just to give you guys these best bets. So I'm ready to go. I'm pumped up. Let's freaking go.
And that is why Narco is the man. So before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe here to DFS by the Numbers. I also did link the channels of Weezy, Narco, and Erik in the description below. Go show them some love. Go subscribe to them as well. Do you want to shout out the chat real quick before we get started? We do have 14 fights to get through, so we're going to kind of roll through here. All views, tech, first one in the chat. We got Debo, Michael, Paul hanging out as always. All sports picks 365, Raw Torque. We got Miles as well. We got Alex in the chat. Walter. We got Dope Space Cowboy, our lyric writer there. We got Philip Quaver. Owen hanging out. We got Austin in the chat. Mac. R. We got Bill as well. Davey Boy. Voodoo. All the regulars here. Bimmer Dude as well. And see who else. Glenn. We got Dave in the chat. What is up, Dave? How you doing? The Dab Father. And I think we got about everybody. Sorry if I missed you guys. Kind of rolling through here. George as well. Papa. Daniel. All you guys. Thank you for hanging out. We're going to get right into it. We have 14 fights. We have three guys on the panel, so it should go a little bit faster. But we have Alatang Hali going against Kevin Croom. And I will let you kick this one off, Narco. What is your best bet for this very first fight of the night?
Yeah, so for this fight here, I don't really have a bet myself. But where I would look here is the fact that Croom is coming down here to 135. The guy has previously fought at 155, and he's a very, very big 35er here. He's going to have a massive reach and height advantage. Not that this guy is a very good technical striker, but he does have the volume advantage here. Hali Alatang is looking for that one big shot. But if the guy has a path here of least resistance, it is probably with his wrestling. But the guy just lately hasn't been using it, and I don't know what the reason is. His first two UFC fights, I believe he had 7 or 8 takedowns. The last two, 0. I think Croom has the volume edge. Alatang Hali has the power and wrestling advantage here. So for me here, I think this fight's going to play pretty close. So guys, the split decision prop here, plus 1,200, plus 850, I believe is the way to go. So you can get Alatang at plus 850 and Croom at plus 1,200 is where I would look for my best bet.
Sounds good. Some split decisions to open up the card. I do like it. I took the shot on Croom. I got him at plus 155. He's still plus 155 on DraftKings. The reason being, Narky brought up a bunch of points. Alatang Hali, he's going to have the power advantage. He's just so low volume. He's had 4 fights in the UFC thus far. All 4 went to decision, and I don't think he surpassed 50 significant strikes yet. Croom, not the best fighter in the world, but he's going to throw volume. He's very long, very awkward on the feet. He's going to do stuff, and he's going to be big. He's going to be much, much bigger than Hali. And if the fight does hit the mat, I believe Croom is either a brown belt or a black belt, but he typically wants to get the fight down to the mat. He's been unsuccessful in doing so thus far, but maybe this fight does hit the mat here, and if it does, I could see him having some success off his back, using his BJJ there, but on the feet, I do think that's where it's mostly going to play out, and I do favor Croom just based off of volume there. So I like Croom probably by decision, but just give me the Croom money line, plus 155. I don't see how Hali is minus 180 when he's going to go out there and just not do much. So I like Croom here as a dog, although it is a very low-level fight here. Weezy, what do you think for this first fight of the night?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brady. I kind of feel like Croom at plus 155 on DraftKings is the way to go here. There's a lot of things that stick out as to why Alateng is not a great minute winner here in the UFC, and it's the low volume. It's looking for the one big shot, and he's going to have to close distance here, and Croom does throw a ton of volume. Hali notoriously throws less volume than his opponents do, and Croom notoriously throws more. And, the one place where I think that Hali can win some minutes is in the wrestling here, but I think if he does that, he's going to be kind of, going into Croom's land, and Croom likes to fish for submissions. So, yeah, at plus 155, it feels like the way to go. I don't have a bet on this fight. I haven't pulled the trigger on anything. I'll probably be staying away, but the way I'm looking here is Croom plus money.
Yep, sounds good to me. We will see what happens in the first fight of the night. Let's move on to the second fight of the night. We have Estela Nunes going against Sam Hughes. And I will kick this one off. I mean, nothing really sticks out for this one. I'm just going to go with the Estela Nunes money line at minus 210. I think it's a solid matchup for her going against Sam Hughes, who is 0-3 in the UFC. I think this fight does primarily stay standing, and when it does, it's going to be Nunes for me all day. I think she's a much better striker. Sam Hughes is kind of a walking punching bag, like a 49% striking defense. I think on the feet, it's Nunes all day. I think for Sam Hughes to win, she's going to have to push Nunes against the cage, take her down. It just has not been able to, work her takedowns yet thus far in the UFC. I think Nunes wins this fight. I don't know whether she finishes Hughes or wins a decision. I'm kind of leaning more towards the decision, but give me the money line to kind of play it safer. I do like Nunes to get it done. Weezy, what do you like for this fight here?
So I'm kind of copping out on this one here on Narcocop's Lambeau plays last night. I gave out the draw here, and I'm sticking with that. Look, Nunes grabbed the fence like 4 times in her debut against Carnelossi here. And if we get a point taken off, I do think that this is Nunes. She's the much better striker, the much cleaner striker. She's got the reach advantage. She's probably got the power advantage too. So, Sam's going to need to make this dirty, and Sam's not particularly good at getting takedowns either. But if she gets it up against the fence, if there's some eye pokes, if there's some fence grabs, I could see this winding up in a draw. I think it's a little too much to lay on Nunes here in this spot, but I do think that she does get the win here.
The draw plus 6,600. I'm telling you, one of these days we're going to hit one of these draws and we're going to look like geniuses. I know we were really close for the Negamarianu fight a couple weeks ago there. Narco, what do you like in this fight here?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Nunes in this spot. I normally never, ever lay minus 200 numbers on women's MMA, especially in the low level. But Sam Hughes is outside of the low level of women's MMA. She doesn't belong in the UFC. She has 3 straight losses in the UFC. I don't understand why she's getting a 4th fight. But Estela Nunes has, even though she got taken down 5 out of 7 times in her last fight against Carnelossi, Carnelossi's much more physically stronger than Sam Hughes is. She is a lot more aggressive than Sam Hughes is. Sam Hughes has not landed a single takedown in the UFC. I don't think she's going to land one here against Nunes. Nunes is a 2-time Muay Thai champion. Much, much better striker. Very good knees up the middle. Good kicking game. I mean, the striking here is a huge advantage on Nunes' side. And I think this is the ass waxing of the week. Ooh. So give me Nunes at minus 210. I think you can get that on Bet Online. I think she just destroys Sam Hughes. I'm not sure if she's going to stop her, but she's going to beat her from pillar to post.
Nice. Nunes to wax Sam Hughes' ass. Let's go, Narco. There we go. We'll move on to the next fight. Yeah, this should be a really good one to talk about. We have Jordan Levitt going against Trey Ogden. Narco, we'll stick with you. What do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, this is a bet that I had early on Trey Ogden at minus 110. I have 3 units on this play. I got this at the opener. I just, when I immediately saw the line, I knew Trey Ogden has a wrestling, he has decent wrestling, has a good BJJ game. I mean, he's a black belt. And I just didn't understand why the line was so short, because he has a huge striking advantage here against Levitt, because Levitt just looks very uncomfortable on the feet. The guy wants it to get on the ground, however it may. And he does have an opportunistic / slick BJJ game, but for him to get it down to the ground is where the problem is. I think Trey Ogden controls where this fight goes. So if he wants to take it down, I think he'll be on top. I think if he wants to keep it standing, I think he's the much better striker. And I do think he has the clear cardio edge here, because we do see Levitt really dropping off in cardio. So for me here, honestly, I still kind of lean the Levitt money line. It's just that it's kind of getting away a little. It's -140 now. So the one path that Levitt has is submission, and Levitt by submission is +390. Like, I don't understand that line, because if you're going to take Levitt, he's not winning minutes here. And if this fight is in his realm and is on the ground for long periods of time, I think he's very, very live for a submission. So +390 Levitt by submission is what I'm going to give you guys, even though I do think Trey Ogden wins this fight.
Yeah, I totally agree. If Levitt wins this fight, I do think it's by submission. And I do think it's probably by first round submission as well. For me, I'm going to kind of go the same route. I'm just going to go fight ends in submission. I like the fight doesn't go to decision, but you take a look at it. Ogden, 0 knockouts on his record. Jordan Levitt, only 1 knockout. That 1 knockout was a slam knockout against Matt Wyman. Don't see that happening here. I think it's kind of like a Levitt early sub situation or Ogden late. I think Levitt's going to gas out. I think Ogden's going to break him, eventually get him out of there. So I like the fight ends by submission. It was +150. I see it's now +145. I think somebody gets subbed here one way or another. Weezy, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I'm saying fight doesn't go to decision is -135 on Bet Online. And yeah, I think that, there's definitely a path for Levitt by first round submission. And I think as this thing goes into the second and the third, if Levitt's unable to get takedowns, we could see Trey Ogden potentially knocking out Jordan Levitt. I think and plus, we got to remember Ogden is a Glory MMA guy. He's gonna have a nice little game plan in there. And I mean, we know what Jordan's good at, and we know what he's not so good at. So we can probably count after the first round on Ogden trying to keep this standing, putting it on Levitt standing. And if he does that, he can get a knockout. So that's why I'm not doing fight ends by submission. I'm going a little bit safer, paying up the -135 for fight doesn't go to decision here. I think they're both live for a finish.
Sounds good to me. We'll keep moving on to the next fight. We have Chris Barnett going against Martin Budai. I will kick this one off. I'm going to go with the fight starts round 2. It's sitting actually at -122 on FanDuel. And you take a look at the other books, it's -170 on 5 Dimes and then -175 on DraftKings. I actually really like that fight starts round 2. I think Martin Budai is going to win this fight. I do think he's going to win it inside the distance. But I kind of see the fight getting a little bit extended. I know the over 1.5 is a very popular play, and rightfully so. That is now -127. I would have liked it at +155. But, give me the fight to start round 2, -122. I think that's a very, very solid line there. Weezy, I have a feeling this is your ass shaving of the week. So what do you have for this one?
Yeah, you let the cat out of the bag, Brady. I got Martin Budai to be shaving the ass of Huggy Bear here today, and doing it violently. The size difference, is just ridiculous in this one. We got a natural heavyweight against a blown up middleweight here. You brought it up. I was listening to one of your breakdowns earlier today. Kevin Croom is 2 inches taller than this guy Barnett. And, Kevin Croom weighed in at 135 pounds, you guys. This guy Budai is huge. I think he's going to, hurt maybe Chris on the feet, but I think he can just push him up against the cage, use knees, hurt him in the clinch, and then get this thing to the ground and finish it with ground and pound or a submission. Budai all day. I got Budai inside the distance, -135 on DraftKings. I think that's kind of like the way to go here. It's Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Let's go, Martin Budai.
Yeah, -135 actually is a pretty solid line. I was not expecting it to be that. So, Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Uncle Weezy said. A line that stuck out to me right away is because this guy's a Dana White Contender Series guy, and I taped him a lot as per my show. And Budai is an IBJJF 2-time European champion. He's a brown belt in BJJ. And Barnett is very bad on the ground. And, The one thing I'll say is if Budai gets this to the ground, how in the world is this guy going to get up? I mean, did you guys see the size advantage? I mean, how big this dude was? Like, if he's laying on top of Barnett, Barnett is done. I mean, whether it be ground strikes, or submission, but, Barnett is a tough guy. So I could see him like giving up his neck or just like getting submitted somehow here because Budai has a good ground game. He just doesn't have a lot of submissions on his record, but he does have the accolades. So the Budai submissions plus 550. I don't get it. So give me the plus 550 Budai by submission on DraftKings.
Budai plus 550. I like it. I hope he does get it done and by submission as well. That'd be awesome. Move on to the next fight. We have Jesse Ronson going against Hoffa Garcia. Weezy, we'll start with you. What do you like for this fight here?
So this is a fight that I really kind of had a hard handle on. I mean, like a hard time getting a handle on here because like, I just don't know what to think of Ronson coming off the suspension. I've heard people say that the drug that he tested positive for is not the kind of a drug you would take in order to cheat at MMA. So, it probably was a tainted supplement, but he's getting older. He's much older than Garcia here. And Garcia's been notoriously difficult to finish. And as has Ronson, actually. Ronson's only been finishing 3 of his 10 losses, I believe. So I'm going to go with fight goes to decision here. It's minus 140 on FanDuel. The fact that both of these guys have been notoriously hard to finish. They've only been finished inside the distance, these guys, in 3 out of their 12 combined losses. So to get a fight goes at less than 60% implied probability when you have that kind of a pair of durable fighters, I think is a good look here, and that's the way I'm going to play this one.
Yeah, this was one that really stuck out when we did our probability show on the MMA Engine on Thursday. The minus 140, it's still there. I do like that. Like you said, both guys are very, very tough, very hard to finish. I guess the one concern would be Garcia and his gas tank, but I think if Ronson does finish, it's probably late. But yeah, I think the fight more often than not does go to decision. Minus 140, I think that's a pretty solid line. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I mean, I like Ronson a lot here. I took him at minus 110. You can get 120 on BetMGM. I still think, he is better everywhere, to be honest. Like you watch Ronson and he's impressive on the feet, has the better cardio. Even when he's getting taken down, like a guy in Natan Schultz who's relentless with his takedowns. I mean, Ronson kept getting up. Ronson kept making him work. And it's like, how does Hoffa Garcia win here? Because on the feet, Ronson's the bigger guy. He's the cleaner striker. I think he has more power. I do like Ronson's game overall. And, watching in his last fight, I mean, it translated because he beat a guy in Nicholas Dalby and even subbed him, who's extremely durable, extremely tough guy. And Ronson looked really good and he's looked really good in his last 2 fights. Right here, Ronson is the best bet for me at minus 120. And I really like Ronson round 3 because Hoffa Garcia really, really slows down while Jesse Ronson doesn't really slow down. The guy has been 5 rounds too. So give me Jesse Ronson at minus 120.
Sounds good. Yeah, the money has been pouring in on Ronson all week. Looks like he's minus 141 on BetOnline, but yeah, you can still get that minus 120 there on BetMGM. There we go. All right, we'll keep moving on here. We have Brandon Jenkins going against Jakar Close. Weezy, I will kick this one off to you. What do you like for this fight here?
So, I get everybody taking the chance on Jenkins by KO, Jenkins inside the distance with the narrative on Close, the things that he's been saying. But like, if you just break this fight down, I mean, I kind of feel like Close by decision is the way to look here. And it's plus money. This guy's minus 600, to win the fight, and you're getting him at plus 170 by his best win condition here. That's the easiest bet for this fight. Close by decision. I'm going to bet that right now, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. And like I told you before the stream started, like Close could not even finish his breakfast this morning. Like this guy has not had a finish in, I think, like over 7 years. And I will say Jenkins is going to be his easiest matchup yet, but man, Jenkins is very, very tough. He can take a punch. I think Close does win this fight. There are some sketchy things. The weigh-ins did not look good at all. The interviews, what he was talking about was not, sounding good at all. But like you said, when you break this matchup down, Close, Close is gonna be the better fighter everywhere. Jenkins very, very hittable, no takedown defense. I kind of think Close just kind of grinds him out here, but if there is a finish, I kind of lean it towards being Jenkins. But like you said, we have Close who's minus 600, minus 700. I think this fight more often than not does go to decision. I like the fight goes to decision at plus 130. I already bet the over 2.5, but I will be honest, after seeing Close on the scales, after hearing the interviews talking about how he still has not recovered from the Stevens push, that has scared me off a little bit. But in a Jakar Close fight, give me the fight doesn't get decision at plus money. A fight goes decision at plus money. Line just does not make much sense to me. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I mean, I can give a little information on Close's injury. The guy has a C6, C7, and it's a herniated disc in his neck. And I had the same exact injury. And, mine was from boxing. But, this injury is no joke, guys. Like, it's numbness down your right arm. It's tingling in your fingers. You cannot really feel your fingers at times. It's getting brain fog. It's a bunch of stuff because it deals with your nerves too. And it's a really, really bad injury. I had it for, it didn't go away for almost a year, and it was terrible. And it could get re-injured really easily. So I don't know how this guy is fighting, to be honest. Like, it's not good to fight. And, he's minus 650. Like, this is insanity to me. However, it's a huge step down. Like, if we're talking about a Close that's anywhere near Close being healthy, he should dominate here. He's got a wrestling background. He can easily take Jenkins down, and Jenkins is terrible with his get-ups, constantly giving up his back. Close talked about wrestling in this fight. He said, I want to wrestle least path of resistance. And if he said that, I'm going to try to go with the Close submission at plus 1,200. I just think it's not so much that Close is such a great grappler. It's how bad Jenkins is on the ground, because the guy is pretty awful with his get-ups and all that. So Close submission plus 1,200, I think, is the best bet for me here.
There you go. Very juicy. I will say I have 3 bets on this fight, and if Close does submit him, I'll be 0-3. So I hope not, Narco, but that would be a huge hit at plus 1,200 there. We'll keep moving on. We have Pannie Kianzad going against Alina Lansberg. We will start with you, Narco. What do you like for this fight here?
Man, I just don't understand Lansberg coming back at 40 years old, 2-year layoff, off a baby. There's a lot of red flags, and it's one thing to come back when you're 26 and you take 2 or 3 years off and you're back at 29. It's a different thing when you're 38 and you take 2 years off and you're coming back at 40. Like, are you coming back better? Are you coming back fresher? I mean, nothing favors Leland Lansberg here. And to top it off, the girl is not a very good striker. She's old. Pannie Kianzad is the much better striker here. I think she just absolutely destroys Lansberg. I think she stops her, to be honest. And Kianzad by KO is plus 500. She's already knocked her out once. I think she's going to knock her out again. So give me plus 500.
Kianzad plus 500. Yeah, I'm going to go. I don't know. There's nothing that really sticks out for this fight. I don't have a bet on it, but I'll just say that Kianzad as a parlay piece, minus 420. And again, I didn't have a bet on this fight, but, I don't think Lansberg is going to bring much to the table here. The layoff, the narrative around her. She's now 40 years old. I think Kianzad does win, and you can't play the Kianzad decision. I think, it's like minus 200 for the Kianzad decision, minus 170. You just can't play that. So, yeah, I think maybe a shot in the KO plus 500 is not the worst look in the world, but I'm going to play it as safe as possible. Give me Kianzad to just get the job done. I don't care how, but just to get the win. I think she does. Weezy, what do you like over this fight here?
So, I just, the Lansberg 2-year layoff, she just had a kid, she's 40 years old. She's been finished. When Lena was 30 and Pannie was 20, Pannie finished her. Now Pannie's 30 in the prime of her career, and Lena's coming off a marriage and a baby and a 2-year layoff. I think Pannie probably gets this done inside the distance. Pannie Kianzad plus 340 by submission or knockout. That's the way I'm going here. I think she's finishing this fight, you guys. I just think Lena's got more than 1 foot out the door at this point.
Yeah, it would not shock me at all. Before we move on, if you guys can please leave a like. We have over 300 in here on a card like this. Is pretty awesome. So thank you guys for hanging out. Again, I did put the links in the description below to the YouTube channels of Weezy and Narco and Erik, as well, who's not here. Go check them out and show them some love. We'll move on to the next fight. We have a William the Fridge Knight going against Devin Clark. And this is a very, very weird fight. I'll kick this one off. We have William Knight, who I kind of thought he would weigh in around maybe like 230s, like low 230s. But no, the guy comes in and weighs 251 pounds, and he's going to have nearly a 30-pound weight advantage over Devin Clark. just a fight I don't want to be overly exposed on, but there was a bet that really, really did stick out. It's going to be the scorecards equals no action, which is the same thing as the finish only from William Knight. Scorecards equals no action is minus 120 on Bet Online, and I still think it's minus 115 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I like that. I think if Clark does win this fight, it means he's, grinding Knight against the cage. He's taking him down. He's controlling him. And if Knight does win this fight, I think it's a knockout. I don't think Knight's going to go out there and win a decision against Clark. So if there's a finish, I think it's Knight. Knight's going to have a massive size advantage. He hits hard. Clark's been finished in 5 of 6 losses. I think the finish only at minus 115 now is still, fairly off. So give me William Knight finish only there. But yeah, weird, sketchy fight. Weezy, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, same bet for me. Shout out to my guy Vic DeJesus on Twitter, who messaged me in the middle of the night. He's like, dude, plus 100 finish only prop on Knight. Devin Clark's been finished in 5 of his 6 UFC losses, and Knight's only been finished once. And Devin Clark has 0 finishes in 6 UFC wins. So I think if there's a finish in this fight, it's going to be on the Knight side here. He's going to be the one finishing Clark. Clark's mouth got broken in half in that last fight. And if Devin Clark's father didn't have any concern for his son's health, that fight would have been stopped too. Please, somebody tell me I'm wrong about that. Ian Kudalaba was beating the living shit out of him. And the combination of Clark's dad having no concern for the health of his son and Keith Peterson having no concern for anybody's health that ever steps into the cage, that fight would have been stopped too. So I just think that there's a lot of data that's telling us here that finish only prop at minus, what is it right now? I wrote it down at minus 110. It's still available on DraftKings. That's ridiculous. You're free rolling with that one.
Yeah, more than likely. I do agree there. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
God, Uncle Weezy is the gift that keeps on giving. But yeah, I love the same play. He mentioned it on my Lambo plays yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, I love that play. William Knight has all the upside for the stoppage here. Most likely a KO. I know people are mentioning like, oh, William Knight is 251. He's going to get gassed here. But I think opposite, to be honest. Imagine this guy is 251, guys. He was cutting to 205. Do you know how much that's going to take out of your gas tank? Like he's draining himself. Like you look at this guy's workouts, like they're all like heavy lifting, which what it does is it just increases muscle mass, which increases your weight. And so this guy, it was almost impossible for him to make 205. I don't know how he did it. And he still showed he can go 3 rounds. Like I honestly believe this favors him now as far as the gas tank being at 251. And then the other aspect of his, think about Devin Clark, right? He's used to trying to get guys that are 205 down to the ground. Now he has to get a guy that's 251 down to the ground. Imagine like how much more cardio you need, how much more strength you have to use to keep this guy down. And William Knight is very, very explosive. So, I mean, Knight, no scorecards is minus 110 on DraftKings right now. Like that's a no-brainer. It's a great bet. And shout out to Uncle Weezy for that.
Yeah, I like that for sure. And yeah, like you said, I kind of agree. I think him not having to cut that much weight is going to help his gas tank. So I do agree with that. We'll keep moving on. We have Lusa going against Munir Lazzez. Weezy, we'll let you kick this one off. What do you like for this fight here?
So I didn't look too much into this fight, but I was a guest on Narcocop's Lambo plays last night, and Narco broke this fight down beautifully, and he really talked a lot about Lusa and how well-rounded he is, how durable he is, and what an interesting matchup he is for Munir Lazzez, dude. At this guy at plus money right now, and especially at plus 172 on FanDuel is the way that I'm looking here. And Lusa by decision as well is calling my name. I've got it in a Lambo parlay where I've got $10 down to win over $3,000. I've got Lusa by decision in that parlay as well. So yeah, I'm looking for Lusa to win this fight, man. I think it's going to be close. This guy is really good. He's at a great camp. He's got better training partners probably than Lazzez does, who trains in the UAE. So yeah, I'm looking for the Lusa money line here, plus 172.
Sounds good. A play that really does stick out with me is going to be the fight goes to decision is minus 144. One thing that sticks out about both guys really is going to be the durability just off the charts. Lusa just really impressed me against Jack Della Maddalena. This guy took a ton of very hard shots. I'm like, why won't this guy go down? And he didn't go down for 15 minutes. And that was, I believe, Jack Della Maddalena's very first decision win. And then on top of that, you have Lazzez, who went out there and took like 50 shots in the first round against Abdulrazak Al-Hassan. That guy hits really hard as well. So, yeah, I think this fight does good decision. Both guys very tough, very durable. I do think it plays out close, but I really like the fight goes minus 144. Don't really see a finish from either guy here. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I was going to give an absolute gem, but BetMGM decided to remove the line because I absolutely hammered it for Max. And it was Ange Lusa for most takedowns in this fight at plus 300 Ange Lusa. And when you look at it everywhere else, like on these prop sites, like Underdog and stuff like that, like Munir Lazzez was getting like plus something on takedowns. So they're telling you Ange Lusa is going to get more takedowns. He's the better wrestler here. I just didn't understand that line. So I absolutely hammered it, but it's gone. But I still agree with Uncle Weezy. Like Ange Lusa plus 172 here on FanDuel, I think is a very good play. Ange Lusa by decision's a very good play. Munir Lazzez is very durable. Both guys are actually very durable, but on the feet, like I do favor Munir Lazzez by a little, but I think the mixing up of takedowns with Ange Lusa is going to come up huge here. And you saw it in his last fight against Howard, who's a Grizzly vet and who has a great ground game. So Ange Lusa controlled him really easily, took him down really well. I mean, the guy's really good, and the loss to Jack Della actually is something that looks really good on his resume right now, because Jack Della looks very, very good. So Ange Lusa plus 172. I really like that line. Plus him by decision is actually a really good bet too.
Sounds good. Yeah, it looks like him by decision is around like plus 400, right?
Yeah, it's
right around
roughly
there
in that range. So yeah,
plus 400 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Very juicy there. I like it. I do think the fight does good decision. That could definitely be a look there. Let us keep moving on. We have next fight, Pat Sabatini going against TJ Laramie. Money's been flying in on Pat Sabatini. He's now sitting at minus 600 here. The line I'm going to give out is still there. I'm going to go with Pat Sabatini to win inside the distance at plus 120. It looks like best line out there, plus 100 on Bet Online there. The reason being is, I think if Pat Sabatini is going to have success, that means that this fight does hit the mat. And if this fight does hit the mat, I just think he's going to have a massive advantage over TJ Laramie. Pat Sabatini, legit black belt in BJJ. This guy's ground game is no joke. I think if he does get the fight down to the mat, and I'm leaning towards he does, and if he gets on top of Laramie, I think the fight will be over shortly after. So I like Sabatini inside the distance. I wouldn't really take the sub prop. It's not much better, like plus 160. Like Laramie has been knocked out twice, and Sabatini does have some power. I think most likely sub, but give me the inside the distance, just in case to cover the like TKO or something like that. But I like Sabatini here quite a bit, and I think he gets it done inside the distance. Narco, what do you think about this one here?
Can I just like quote everything you say and then like press play? Because it's the same exact thing, and up to the very end, the same exact thing. Like I have a bet on inside the distance. I don't think it's worth playing just the submission, because I do believe like Sabatini has some nasty ground and pound, and like you said, Laramie's been stopped by KO before. So I don't want to mess around with that. So just take inside the distance and be happy with that plus number.
Yeah, you're getting minus 600 and you're taking that and turning it to plus 100. I do like that more than the money line. Weezy, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, I would also encourage people to just parlay Pat up to, if you don't mind parlaying minus 600, you can parlay him up. But yeah, he should get this done inside the distance. Laramie has been finished in 3 of 4 losses, and the one loss he didn't get finished in, it was like a fight that he actually won if you actually watched it. So yeah, I mean, when this guy loses, he gets finished, and Pat Sabatini's he's an assassin on the ground. So, I do like him to get it done inside the distance, but if you don't feel like paying up for inside the distance, just parlay him up.
Sounds good to me. And yeah, it looks like while we are talking, Pat Sabatini is now minus 650. Yikes. So I wonder how big of a favorite he's going to be by fight time. Speaking of another big favorite, we have the people's main event, Mara Bueno Silva going against Wu Yanan. Weezy, we'll let you kick this one off. What do you like for this fight here?
Me, huh? Yeah, I don't have a bet for this fight. I mean, I do think that Mara Bueno Silva is going to kill this girl. Wu, I actually just found out I made an ass of myself at the beginning of the show. Wu Yanan is not affiliated with the Wu-Tang Clan, so please please don't bet on her. She, like Method Man wouldn't give her the time of day if he saw her in the streets. So I'm just going to say Mayra Bueno Silva. And you know what? Let's say Mayra inside the distance here. I don't have a bet on this fight. This is a gigantic 1-800 gambler fight, in my opinion. But I mean, I think Silva's going to get it done inside the distance here. She's savage.
Yeah, that's the only way I'd look. I'm on the same thing, plus 165. I wish I was getting a little bit better of a line, like a plus 200 would be nice, because I think Silva absolutely has the tools to finish Wu Yanan. I think if this fight hits the mat in any type of way, she's going to submit her. The problem is, is Silva going to go out there and shoot takedowns? She has not done so yet. I'm hoping she does. Like, that'd be really smart, because if this fight hits the mat, it's going to be over instantly. So I like Silva inside the distance. I think she can hurt her on the feet, and if she does so happen to go for a takedown, her first one, I think she submits Wu Yanan, fairly easy there. So the only way I could possibly look at this one would be Silva inside the distance at plus 165. I would most definitely not touch the minus 550 there. Narco, what do you like for this one here?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I just want to get a little more value. So Silva has actually a lot of power in her hands, even though it hasn't translated. Plus 700 KO for, Silva, who has a lot of power, and Wu has this face that's very hittable. Give me plus 700 by KO. Like, Wu blocks punches with her face. She's terrible defensively. Chin high up in the air. Face that's hittable. I mean, you name it. So give me plus 700 by KO.
I like it. Yeah, very, very hittable face there and a very bad haircut. Move on to the next fight. We have Andre Fialho going against Miguel Baeza. Narco, will stick with you. What do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I didn't have a bet early on, but this line has been driven down. And I think you can get like 158 now on Bet Online and on Miguel Baeza's side. I think it's kind of a buy low spot, if you ask me. Like, okay, so he's fighting a guy in Fialho who I believe has less power than Chaos Williams, is less of a technical striker than Chaos Williams, has worse footwork than Chaos Williams, and is less durable, in my opinion, than Chaos Williams. So in that fight, Baeza was winning that fight up until he threw, 16 leg kicks in a row that were naked and eventually got caught with a left hook. So for me, I think it's a buy low spot on Baeza. You're getting minus 158. I got in at that number. I think it's a good, just as we say that, it's minus 175 now. But yeah, I mean, minus 175, it's close. Yeah, 164, I'd go for it.
Okay.
164 on DraftKings, I would go for it. So I like Baeza here. I think he dominates this fight. He might even stop Fialho late, to be honest.
Yep, I am on the Baeza side myself. As far as picking my best bet, I guess the line that kind of has been sticking out all week is going to be the fight ends in KO, sitting at minus 115. I think this fight does have a good chance of finishing. I think it's kind of Fialho early, Baeza late. Fialho has a ton of power. Baeza has been knocked out. His chin is a little bit questionable, but I'm more so leaning towards Baeza kind of taking over as the fight goes on. Fialho slowing down and Baeza eventually getting him out of there. Both guys have a combined 2 submission wins, so I'm not overly worried about the submission, but I think somebody does get knocked out here, and I do like the minus 115 for the fight ends in KO there rather than laying like minus 185 on the fight doesn't go. Weezy, what's sticking out to you on this one?
Yeah, money coming in on Fialho, by the way, here. I parlayed up Baeza in a greasy 4-legger on FanDuel last night. I paid like minus 186. He's sitting at minus 164 right now. So there is some money coming in on Fialho, but I don't want to oversimplify things. But when I have a boxer versus a kickboxer, I favor the kickboxer. The boxer heavy on their lead leg. This particular kickboxer tries to take your leg off at the knee. I think this is a terrible matchup for Fialho. His conditioning is something that has really bothered me when I've watched him fight in the past. Mouth wide open after round 1. Fialho is powerful, but Baeza is just as powerful, if not more. Baeza's got the better Brazilian jiu-jitsu game. He's got the better conditioning, and he's fought and beaten the better brand of competition here. Not overthinking this, man. I like Baeza at minus 164.
Baeza minus 164. There you go. All right, time for the co-main event. We have Kyle Bahio going against Omar Gadziev. Narco, we'll start with you. What do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I love Kyle in this spot. Another Dana White Contender Series guy who I taped very vigorously. And this guy is he has all the tools of a very good fighter, not good fighter, because this guy has the fight IQ, has very good striking, has a very good ground game, very good takedown defense, and a very good get-up game. Like there's not much that this guy's bad at. I would say maybe his cardio is a little slightly needs to be worked on, but man, this guy has it all, is a big guy. The much bigger guy here when you look at him at face-offs. And, Godzi is a good wrestler, but getting the fight to the ground here is not going to be easy, for one. Two, I don't think he's going to be able to control Caio. And three, even if he does get Caio down, it's extremely dangerous to be down there with him, because this guy, he trains with Damian Maia for the last 7 years. And can you imagine what he's seen on the ground from Damian Maia? Is there anything he's not, hasn't seen that he's going to see with Godzi? I doubt it. So on the feet, he's the much better striker, and his footwork is really, really good when you look at it. And yeah, I mean, I love Caio in this spot. He's still plus money, I guess. And I got him at plus 116, but I think this line's going to continue to shrink possibly when come fight time.
Yeah, and most importantly, if we're talking neck tattoos, Caio definitely has him covered there as well. Weezy, what do you think about this one here?
I'm right there with my man Narcocop. When I tape this fight, I see a lot that there is to like about both fighters. Godzi sticks to his game plan. He's going to use his striking to set up his entries on his takedowns. He's going to take you down, and he's going to win minutes there, kind of try to work to that crucifix position and potentially finish a fight there with the crucifix, or just work ground and pound and win a ton of minutes. And then with Caio, I feel like if Omar Godziev's name was like something like Mike Williams, that Caio might be like minus 200 here. I think we're getting a very deep discount on Caio Borralho because he's fighting a Russian. This guy is very, very impressive to me. Power in both hands. This is a guy coming out of that Fighting Nerds camp. These guys are thinkers, and I love people who think when they fight. Those high fight IQ guys are the kind of guys you want to bet on. Caio is a natural righty who, when he first saw Conor McGregor fight and saw how difficult his power lefty stance was to deal with, he taught himself how to fight lefty. So you see him out there, he's fighting southpaw. This is a southpaw out there with a dominant right hand. He's got power in both hands. I've seen him go 5 rounds and win the last 2 rounds convincingly. Yeah, man, I think Godzi's a hell of a fighter. I think he's really good. I just think that this line is wrong. I've already got a unit at plus 102 on Caio. I'm also got Caio by decision in a parlay. I'm going with the neck tattoo here, man. I think I'm going to be riding with Caio here and my man Narco.
Sounds good. Yeah, Narco is the Contender Series whisperer, so you got to like Narco on your side for that one. For me, I don't have a really strong take on this fight. I think both guys are very impressive to me, but I do think Kyle's probably the more well-rounded fighter. Like you mentioned, BJJ black belt, going to have the striking advantage, 7-inch reach advantage. I think Caio at plus money is probably the side. The line is, kind of tightening up a little bit. I'm just going to go with the fight goes to decision. I could see this fight playing out a couple of different ways, but I'm going to take the fight goes at plus 114 there. No action on this fight. A fight I'm going to sit back, watch, and enjoy, and kind of learned a little bit about both fighters here. But I'll move on to the main event. We have Belal Muhammad going against Vicente Luque. Weezy, we will start with you. What are you liking for the main event?
So if you're on the Luque side, check out FanDuel. They have Luque inside the distance boosted from plus 105 to plus 140. Now, that's the way you got to bet this fight if you're on the Luque side. The guy's a finisher. He's finished 13 of his 14 wins inside the distance in the UFC. And this is a 5-round fight. This guy's finishing people in 3 rounds. But also the key stat here that I dug deep to get this week is that in those 17 fights that Luque has had at the UFC level, he's faced more than 2 takedown attempts only 3 times out of 17. He's 1-2 in those 2 fights. The fight that he won was the second one against Nico Price, where he was pretty much losing that fight. And Nico was taking him down at will. And Nico is a guy who's got less than 25% takedown accuracy. I think Belal's going to wrestle the shit out of this dude. I think he's going to make this fight very dirty. I don't think a lot of this fight is going to be taking place on the feet at striking range. And I'm going with Belal Muhammad by decision at plus 250. And I'm going to be sprinkling that round 5 at plus 4,200 and the round 4 on DraftKings, I believe, at plus 3,600.
Wow.
That's
right.
where I'm going, man. I'm going with Belal. I'm going out on a ledge. I'm going with the underdog, the U of I guy. Chicago, stand up. Belal Muhammad. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Yeah, I think there's a bunch of different ways you can play this fight. Like you said, I think if you like Luque, you got to play him inside the distance. I was going to have a huge bet on the scorecards equals no action or the finish only for Luque, but the bookies are all over it. I think it's like minus 460, which, makes sense, but you can't really bet that. I'm going to go with Luque inside the distance at plus money. Like you said on FanDuel, it is boosted at plus 140. Wish I would have saw that earlier. But I do like Luque to win inside the distance at some point. But yeah, Belal, I think if you like Belal Muhammad by decision plus 250. And a very sneaky bet is on DraftKings Sportsbook. You have the decision only, which is, I think, like minus 125 for Belal. That means if the fight finishes at any point, whether it's Belal getting a finish or Luque getting a finish, more than likely the bet gets voided. And if the fight goes to decision and Belal does win that decision, it's minus 125, which does not make much sense to me. I think if this fight does go to decision, that means that Belal was able to implement his game plan. He was able to do it for 5 rounds. So a couple of different ways. I think Belal decision only. I think Luque inside the distance. I think Belal by decision. I think are all great ways to play this fight. Narco, which way are you playing this fight?
Yeah, I really like that decision only you just mentioned. But yeah, I'm probably going to hit that too. But I love the late round props on Muhammad here. Muhammad 4 is 3,500. Muhammad 5 is 4,200, like Uncle Weezy stated. And my reasoning is like Luque slows down a lot in the 3rd round. And, he's never been past the 3rd. Muhammad, we know, has a gas tank for 5 rounds. And the other thing you want to look at is the fact that, Muhammad doesn't have a lot of finishes, but man, was he ever so close to finishing Stephen Thompson. And we know how difficult it is to finish Stephen Thompson and how difficult it is to take him down. I mean, Luque is very easy to take down, to be honest. And I know he's more dangerous on the ground, but I think Muhammad is a very, very smart fighter, high fight IQ. And, these late round props, 3,500, 4,200 for a guy that's going to push a pace against a guy that really slows down in 3-round fights, I think is not bad to sprinkle something on these numbers because they're astronomical. And I really think they have a lot of value.
Yeah, those props are crazy. Plus 4,200 for round 5. So we'll take the last like 10 minutes or so to answer any questions you guys have. If you guys can put your questions in the chat. Narco, I know you got to head out like 10 minutes early. So just let everybody know where they can find you, what you have going on throughout the week. I did put Narco's YouTube down in the description. And you can follow Narco on Twitter as well.
Well, first and foremost, I have to give a shout out to Brady and that weight loss. The guy looks incredible. So props to you, man.
Thank you.
It's really impressive and very good on you, man. But yeah, thank you to everybody in chat. They can find me on Twitter at Narcocop. My YouTube channel is Narcocop MMA. I have a Friday show. It's the Lambo Plays podcast. We give you plus 300 plays or better on each and every fight. And I also am now doing a Spaces tomorrow. It's a Spaces, basically a recap of my betting on this card and every card going forward. It's tomorrow at 12 p.m. We're basically going to go over every single fight and kind of break down where we went wrong or where we went right. And it's going to be me and Timothy Troiano, my co-host.
Sounds good. Go check it out. Narco, enjoy the fights. Let's hit some bets. We'll talk to you soon. All right. So me and Weezy, if you guys can have any questions, let us know. Me and Weezy will answer them. Weezy, if that's okay with you, or do you have to hop out as well?
Oh, I'm good, man.
All right, here we go. So first of all, I do have a dono. We got Alex in the chat saying the best live capping show on YouTube. That does mean a ton. Alex, great info every week. Thank you so much for the dono, and thank you so much for the compliment. Dope Space Cowboy saying you missed 2 classes and no homework, but your bookie shaves ass, shave your ass like you're some kind of jerk. Weezy, what song is that? Do you know?
So that is the Beastie Boys that he is spitting there, man. That is some old school stuff. That came out before you were born, my friend. That is, you got to fight for your right to party, man. It is an absolute classic from back in the day. Dope Space Cowboy always dropping the lyrics up in here, man.
I'm telling you, we got to hire him. We got to get him on.
We got to, dude.
Awesome.
There's no doubt about it, dude.
Hafiz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Weezy, what are your thoughts on the over 2.5 on the Lusa Lazzez?
I like it. So let me just bring up my prop template right here, and let's go to that fight. So for Lusa Lazzez, I'll give you guys some numbers here. 15. out of 22 of Lazzez and Lusa's fights combined have finished inside the distance. That's 68.2% of their fights have finished inside the distance. The divisional finish rate is about 48.43% at 170 pounds. And the implied probability of the fight doesn't go to decision line is 43.48%. So right now on the aggregate, this is saying it likes the fight doesn't go to decision. But when we look at the fight goes to decision, the problem with betting the fight doesn't go is that these guys are durable. Okay. It looks like neither one of them has lost inside the distance, Lazzez has lost inside the distance once to Warley Alves. So they're both very durable guys. Lusa coming in on short notice. So the over 2.5 at what line did he say that was?
It looks like best line is -180 bet online.
That's a little bit steep for my liking here at -180 because I'm showing -160 earlier in the week for the fight goes to decision. So -180 for the over 2.5. It's actually in the same spot. I think that's okay. I think that's okay here. I would probably say that this goes to decision more times than it doesn't.
Sounds good to me. Ron saying, is Narco going to the nightclub? I think Narco is heading to the casino actually there. We have a Prince of Mischief saying, did Weezy lay the bet slip on close decision yet?
Yeah, I got that on Bet MMA Tips, I believe. It should be on my profile. Let's see if it's updated. And it is close wins by decision, 3/4 of a unit at +170 to win 1.25 units. Let's go, Drakkar.
Sounds good. Uncle Rafi saying, boys, I just wanted to let you know how much we love the show. Appreciate that a ton. Never seen such a wholesome group of MMA experts. Appreciate that. That is the goal, to be very very not handsome, maybe handsome if you think, but wholesome is always to be the goal there. Uncertainty saying, guys, last pick on DK, Devin Clark, Baeza, or Lazzez. That's a tough one. I'd probably lean towards Baeza. Weezy, any strong lean?
I would be going with Baeza. He's in my lineup this week.
Tiger saying, Uncle Weezy, can you drop your 9 draws wisdom? Has been thinking about a draw for a while. Which fight do you think's gonna end in draw, Weezy?
So I'm gonna have a 1/10 of a unit bet on the Nunes Hughes fight goes to draw, and I also gave out the draw on Ronson Garcia. I think that fight goes to decision, and there's gonna be some wrestling. You know, we could get a fence grab or two, we could get an eye poke. I just don't have a strong read. So when I don't have a strong read about who's going to win, or I think that neither fighter is good enough to win, that's when my mind starts going to draw.
Sounds good. Papa's saying, I think a draw should be called a Weezy from now on. Hey, it might be. If he hits a couple of these, it might be. Tyler asking, what is the ass shaving of the week, Weezy?
It's Martin Budai inside the distance to shave the ass of Chris Huggy Bear Barnett.
Sounds good. And then Rob saying, Weezy, what about close in his bad weight cut? Any thoughts about that?
It looked rough. It looked rough to me, but I mean, like, he's way better than this Jenkins guy. He's way better. And I think that if you've watched Close's fights in the UFC, the guy does know how to fight safe. He knows how to push fights up against the cage and win minutes there and win minutes on the ground. And that's two things that Jenkins doesn't do well. So I think if I'm a guy who had a bad weight cut and I'm a guy who's still worried about a neck injury and potentially being chinny, I'm going to fight the way that I predict Close will fight tonight, which will be very safe, which makes his most likely path to victory a win by decision. And regardless of what you think about whether he's going to be chinny or not, or the weight cut or any of that, Drakkar Close is still -600 on the line, you know, to win this fight. That's an 83% implied probability. But at +160, 170 on the draw, we're talking about something around a 37% implied probability. It's a huge discount, and I feel that you kind of have to take advantage of that if you think Close has a chance to win this fight.
Yeah, like the bookies are indicating that Close has a very good chance to win. If he does win, it's more than likely going to be by decision. Yeah, +175 is nuts, dude. Ron, thank you for the compliment here. This show is a must before any card. Appreciate you guys. Good luck tonight in football of the first time ever on Easter tomorrow. Well, good luck to you, Ron, as well. Enjoy some football. Enjoy Easter. Should be a fun day tomorrow. And by the way, guys, Stat Diggers is going to be Monday night after the Die Hard MMA podcast. Going to push it back a day. Just going to be impossible, you know, hang out with family tomorrow to get Stat Diggers, everything done by tomorrow night. So Stat Diggers, Monday night, we're thinking like 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern time, sometime around there. Hafiz, I think I got that right. Croom over 1.5, Budai over 1.5. Yeah, I think Croom does go over, but Budai, I'm like a little bit iffy on it. I'm kind of thinking sometime in the second round. Weezy, any hot take on that?
Yeah, I kind of feel like the Budai fight ends in the second round. So that over 1.5 is like, boy, that's close, man. But Hafiz, the Croom over 1.5 feels real good to me.
Yep, sounds good. And I'm just saying, Brady, you missed my song lyrics. I didn't even see it. What was it? I'm curious.
I missed it too, man. Damn it. Yeah, he's gonna have to let us know because that's our guy Nigel, dude. You know he's got some fire for us, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. Prince saying, "What are y'all eating tonight?" Love the show. For me, I'm going to have some chicken and maybe some green beans. Weezy, you eat anything special tonight?
Dude, if you ask Brady, it's always chicken. 7 days a week and twice on Sundays, this guy's eating chicken. I have no idea, dude. I have neglected to eat yet thus far today. I've had a yogurt and that's it. So I've got to figure something out, man. I'm going to be meeting Narcocop and Tim Troiano over at Rivers Casino tonight. So maybe I'll get something over there, but no plans for food yet. I got to get something in my stomach though.
You're dressing up, right?
Well, I'm not going to be looking like Narcocop, man. I'm going to let that guy be the best dressed guy in the room. But yeah, I'm going to look a little bit better than I normally look when I'm walking around my house.
I like it. Sounds good. Going to be good to get out and enjoy the fights there. So yeah, I think we'll cut it off here, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. We had over 500 people in here at one point, which is phenomenal for a card like this, a card that has freaking Wu Yanan on it. But you guys are degenerates, and we're glad to have you every week. Next week's card is going to be much better. And then we have UFC 274 coming up in the next couple weeks. That card is going to be awesome. So we'll get through this week. I think it should be fun. As always good to have fights. But Weezy, let everybody know where they can find you and what you have going on throughout the week.
Okay, so you can find me on my YouTube channel, Uncle Weezy. I'm doing balls deep breakdowns of fights over there, and I also do a full card breakdown every Tuesday night called Just the Tip with Uncle Weezy. Sunday for Stat Diggers, but not this Sunday. We're going to be doing it on Monday. Wednesday on Pub Sports Radio for the DraftKings show. I'm actually going to be hopping on the Pub Sports Radio live stream here for the watch along for the first couple of fights before I head out to the casino. And and you can also find me on the MMA Engine YouTube channel, you guys. We got a new show over there called Probability, which is a data-driven look at these over-under and fight goes and fight doesn't go to decision lines. Nobody's really doing anything like it right now. I think it's going to be one of the hottest new shows going forward on YouTube, dealing with MMA gambling. So get over there to the MMA Engine YouTube channel if you haven't already and subscribe over there. We're going to have a lot of good content coming your way. But the last and most important part of business, Brady, that we got to take care of today is to stack cash tickets like flapjacks, baby. Let's get an ass shaving out of Martin Budai, and let's take a bunch of money off these bookies.
Let's do it. That is the goal. I do have 11 bets today, which is probably too much for this card, but 8 of them are plus money. So hopefully it's a good night. I'm looking forward to it. You guys can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. You can find me here on my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all the good stuff. You can find me on Pub Sports Radio Sundays and Wednesdays. Also, like Weezy said, we're going live Monday for Stat Diggers instead of Sunday because of Easter. And then on top of that, you can find me on the MMA Engine YouTube channel. I'm going to start doing my live stream on Fridays over there in the next couple of weeks. And on top of that, like Weezy said, Probability, brand new show. I'm loving it. People are loving it. Come tune in next Thursday. That's about it, guys. Best of luck, and let's make some money for UFC Vegas 51. See you guys.